Hiya. So I just wanted to quickly go over how I sort of approach finding upgrades for my build and how I go about figuring out how to craft them. So a friend of mine sent over his POB and he's playing a Poison BV build. And so he's kind enough to have set up all the config for us, and he told me he wanted to upgrade his helmet. And so if we take a look at his helmet here, I noticed that he doesn't have the increased duration of ailment craft from the betrayal. And so the way I sort of quickly figured this out is going into the config here and using the custom modifiers. And I know that on the bench we can get, I think the min roll is 60% of duration of ailments you inflict while focused. Plugging this in here allows me this checkbox here for focus. So when we press it up against our single target, we gain about 200,000 DPS just for single target for a single suffix modifier. Is pretty good. He also told me that he does want to keep the chaos resistance if possible, and we can see that the fire resistance, he is about 1% off there, which he can clean up as he sees fit after that. I'm sure we can maybe divine something like a bless, not divine, good luck divining. You can bless or maybe a ring implicit, or we can, there we go, we can craft that fire resistance there as the suffix to 30% to clean that up. So I know that we want life, we want spell suppression if possible, chaos resistance, and an open suffix for the ailment duration. So we also see that he is going Ghost Dance, so he told me he wants an evasion ES hybrid, and I think he decided on a Regicide mask. And so I jumped over to PoEDB here and had a quick look, and we saw that you need minimum eye level 85 for the top tier of spell suppression, 64 for life, the chaos res up to 31. And so I thought, well, if we want chaos res, we can look at doing essence crafting for that, because if we go to the essence here, I believe it's the envy. On our armor, we get 21 to 25. And what does this go up to on the next tier? We're probably going to look at using Shrieking Essence of Envy here to get our 26 to 30%. So, jumping onto PoEDB, we start off looking at suppress spell damage fractures. Because it's on a Regicide mask, it is not the most sought after base type, which is very good for us. So we went here, clicked on this to filter by the top, and you can see that it is 2 divines for a max roll T1, and it is 25C for 1% less. And it's both eye level 85. Sure, this one has some Eldritch implicits, but I mean, we can roll those to whatever we like. Anyway, so we are saving about 90% of our cost here. This is about 10% of the price of this alone, just by dropping 1%. I think we're more than happy to go with that. And so if I jump over to Craft of Exile here, and then I want to look at crafting with essences. So we said we were going to use the Envy for chaos resistance, and then if we go to our spell suppression, and if I control right click, we have to turn fractured on. There we go. Control right click, that will fracture this on for us. And we are going to look for, we have our chaos resistance, we have our spell suppression. Let's go for the life next. Let's say we will settle on T3 life, maybe even T2. As you can see, we will be getting our life in about 13 attempts for T2. So if we go and buy 13 of our essences, where's Envy? At Shrieking, we want at least 13. About 2C each. Maybe you'll push it to 3. Let's say 3. We're looking at about 40 chaos plus the base of 25C, and we're going to end up with a very nice helmet that's going to have our chaos res, our life, our spell suppression, and even if we don't have a open suffix then, what we can do is either just annul, which is pretty risky, honestly, for something so cheap. I would just keep going. I would just roll it again until we hit our guaranteed chaos res, we hit our life with an open suffix. I think that you would be very unlucky to have to use more than 50 essences for this. So we're looking at maybe 125 chaos for the whole craft, and he ends up with a very nice upgrade on his hands, and he ends up picking up that extra 200k single target DPS. That's sort of my quick and dirty approach to finding gear upgrades, is sort of just looking at what can be a damage upgrade for your build, whether that be +1 skills, in where you can go onto your skill gem and go, oh, I have a level 20 or a level 21 gem and I want to get +1 skills, well then it's going to give me this much DPS if I level that up by 1. That sort of stuff, that's pretty easy to do. Other things, you can just pop in all your modifiers in here. The only time you really need to craft it on gear, I think, is when it's things like socketed gems deal additional damage or cast speed or things like that. So I do use the config custom modifiers quite a bit, just to quickly test out what's going to be a good modifier for me. And then I get to have a look on the trade site and see if I can pick up something nice and cheap, just like our Regicide mask here. Just a quick overview of how I sort of go about trying to find nice upgrades for my gear for the least amount of cost. I hope this helped, and good luck.